Welcome back, everyone, to the Wisdom of Lao Tzu.
Great to be back. Last time, we really spent some time with that very personal statement from Lao Tzu.
Oh, yes. Alone, I am different from all others, for I treasure the nourishing mother.
Exactly. And we talked about how that nourishing mother is the Tao for him. It's his spiritual food, the ultimate source.
It really stuck with me. Because we're all looking for that, aren't we? In our own ways, that sort of spiritual sustenance.
Yeah, beliefs, principles, strength, something to hold on to.
But we tend to look for it in, well, concrete things. A job, a relationship, a specific belief system.
Right. But the Tao, as we've encountered it so far, it's been described mostly by what it isn't.
Empty, void, invisible, inaudible, all those negative terms.
Which is brilliant, philosophically. It really clears out misconceptions, leaves you kind of awestruck.
Definitely. But it also leaves you hanging a bit, doesn't it?
Totally. Human nature kicks in, you think, okay, I get what it isn't, but what is it? Is there anything positive we can grasp?
It's like Lao Tzu knew we'd ask that. That deep need to understand, to have something positive to hold on to.
Yeah.
And that's where chapter 21 comes in. It feels like his most daring move yet.
Daring how?
He actually tries to shift gears from the is not to the is. He attempts to, well, paint a portrait of this ultimate reality.
A portrait of something unseen, unheard, untouched?
Exactly. A portrait maybe our hearts can get, even if our logical minds struggle.
Wow. That sounds ambitious, like try to describe the Big Bang singularity.
That's a great analogy, actually. Imagine an astronaut coming back from that. What words could they possibly use?
Yeah, you need poetry, metaphor, pure wonder.
Precisely. And that's the challenge Lao Tzu takes on in chapter 21.
Okay, so as we dive in, what are we looking for? What questions should guide us?
Well, first, how does he actually show this reality within what he calls vague and intangible chaos?
Right, and what are these elements he points to? Image, thing, essence, trust. What do they mean?
And maybe the biggest question, how is he so sure? How does Lao Tzu know this is the truth of the universe?
Okay, deep questions. And as always, we need to start with the source.
Absolutely. Any understanding has to be built on really listening to Lao Tzu's own words, feeling that rhythm across the centuries.
All right, so let's get quiet for a moment and just absorb the text.
Okay, this is chapter 21, translated by Philip J. Ivanhoe.
The manner of grand virtue.
Follows only from waymaking.
The thing that is waymaking.
Is only vague and intangible.
Intangible and vague.
Yet within it there is an image.
Vague and intangible.
Yet within it there is a thing.
Dim and dark.
Yet within it there is an essence.
This essence is genuine.
And within it there is trust.
From antiquity to the present.
Its name has not been discarded.
By means of it, we can examine the origins of all things.
How do I know the origins of all things are so?
By this.
Powerful stuff. And right away, that first line sets the connection. The manner of grand virtue follows only from waymaking.
Okay, so grand virtue eng de. That's like the highest form of virtue de.
Exactly, the most complete expression. And de in Taoism is basically the Tao waymaking made concrete, how it shows up in the world, in everything.
So virtue is like the evidence of the Tao, the manifestation.
That's a great way to put it. Think about it like this. Waymaking, the Tao, is like pure, invisible white light.
Okay.
And virtue day is the rainbow that appears when that light shines through a prism, the prism being, all of existence.
Oh, I like that. The rainbow only exists because of the light.
Precisely. The manner of the rainbow, its colors, its form, that's the manner of grand virtue. It follows only from waymaking. So if you want to understand the invisible light,
you study the visible rainbow it creates. Makes sense.
So having set that up, Lao Tzu immediately asks, well, what is this source, this waymaking?
And he gives that famous description, vague and intangible.
Huang Hu.
Yeah, Huang Hu. Blurry, indistinct, hard to pin down.
It sounds so mystical, almost otherworldly. It does, but what's fascinating is how it echoes, maybe unexpectedly, with modern physics.
Really? How so?
Well, think about how physicists describe the state before the Big Bang, the singularity. They use terms like quantum foam.
Right, where normal laws of physics break down, time and space aren't defined yet.
Exactly. A state of pure potential, chaotic, indescribable, sort of nothing and everything all at once.
That sounds incredibly vague and intangible.
Doesn't it? It's like Lao Tzu intuitively grasped the state of primordial potentiality. It's not just empty, it's full of possibility.
So that's the astronaut analogy again, trying to describe something beyond our normal experience.
Yes, and he doesn't leave it there. He goes into that vagueness, intangible and vague, yet within it there is an image.
An image emerging from the blur.
Vague and intangible, yet within it there is a thing. So suddenly, form starts to appear. An image, a thing.
Wow, that feels like the moment of creation itself, potentially
Yeah.
becoming actual.
It really does, like the first particle, the first atom, the first structure crystallizing out of that chaotic sea. The universe sketching itself.
And he goes deeper still, dim and dark, yet within it there is an essence.
Yimenming. Deep, obscure, bottomless. Like looking into the abyss.
But even in that darkness, there's something substantial. An essence. Yeah.
And crucially, he says, this essence is genuine and within it there is trust.
Shan. Genuine essence and trust. That pairing is interesting. What does it suggest?
Think about DNA. It's a fantastic modern parallel.
How so?
Well, imagine a giant redwood tree, immensely complex, but the instructions, they're hidden deep inside, in the microscopic nucleus. That's the dim and dark part, the Weiming.
Okay.
Inside is the DNA. That's the essence, the Jing. And that DNA is absolutely genuine. It carries the genetic code, the sin.
The trustworthy blueprint.
Exactly. It's so reliable, so trustworthy. It guarantees whether that seed becomes an oak or a pine. It's a cosmic promise embedded in the essence.
So Lao Tzu is mapping out this whole chain. From formless chaos, the quantum foam,
To the emergence of images and things.
down to the core essence, with its inherent trustworthiness, like a genetic code.
He's describing the unfolding of existence itself. It's breathtaking, really.
It is, but then comes that final twist. How does he know all this?
Right. From antiquity to the present, its name has not been discarded, meaning its role as the source hasn't changed.
By means of it, we can examine the origins of all things. Okay, so we use this enduring reality to understand the beginning.
And then the kicker, how do I know the origins of all things are so?
By this. Just by this. What does that mean?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? It's not pointing to external proof like a fossil record or a mathematical equation.
Come on.
It seems to point inward, to inner observation, verification within oneself.
How does that work?
The idea is the sage observes virtue, the Tao made manifest in the world, the rainbow, and through that, inwardly connects with, realizes the vague but real waymaking, the light source. They grasp the essence and trust within it.
So understanding yourself, the microcosm.
Gives you insight into the macrocosm's origin. Knowing the drop gives you knowledge of the ocean.
Wow. Okay, it feels like we've just unfolded this incredible cosmic map, grand virtue, vague and intangible, essence, trust.
Each one a marker pointing to something deeper. Just seeing the markers isn't enough, right? We need to explore the terrain they represent.
Definitely. So let's dive into those deeper philosophical realms. Where should we start?
Let's tackle that first relationship head on. What exactly is the connection between virtue, day, and waymaking, Tao?
That opening line again. The manner of grand virtue follows only from waymaking. It seems so clear yet. How does it work in practice?
Well, thinkers have grappled with this for centuries. Su Che, back in the Song Dynasty, had a really useful way of putting it.
What did he say?
He saw the Tao as the underlying substance, the ultimate reality, the source. And virtue, day, as its function, how it operates and shows itself in the world.
Like the potential versus the kinetic energy.
Sort of, yes. He famously called virtue the footprint of the Tao. You see the footprint in the sand, and you know something unseen passed that way.
Ah, I like that, the footprint.
And this idea pops up everywhere in Chinese thought. Zhuangzi, Han Feizi, they all saw virtue as the Tao becoming tangible, the place where the abstract takes form.
It's the embodiment. And didn't you mention a modern scholar's metaphor?
Yes, Zhang Jing, brilliant metaphor. He said the Tao is like a vast flowing river.
Okay.
An individual virtue, yours, mine. A tree's virtue is like a basin of water stooped from that river.
So the water in the basin is river water. Fundamentally the same, just contained.
Exactly. It shows the absolute dependence. Virtue comes from waymaking. It is waymaking, just expressed individually.
That really clarifies the dependency. And what about Wang Bi's take? You mentioned him interpreting Qing as empty.
Yes, Wang Bi, a hugely influential commentator. He looked at Kung De, grand virtue, and connected Kung, Yi, with kung, meaning empty.
Empty virtue, what does that mean?
He said, essentially, you have to embody emptiness as your virtue. Only then can your actions truly align with the Tao.
Like being an empty vessel.
Precisely. It ties into what another commentator, He Shanggong, called this chapter, the empty heart. Your heart needs to be empty, receptive, like a perfectly tuned instrument, to resonate with the Tao's music.
So it's not just doing good things, but the inner state of emptiness from which good action flows naturally.
That's the idea. True virtue isn't forced. It arises spontaneously when you're aligned with the Tao, when your heart is empty and receptive.
But that raises a critical point. What if someone acts virtuously, but they're not aligned with the Tao? If their virtue is detached from way-making?
Ah, that's the danger zone. Lao Tzu implies this is problematic. Virtue detached from its source can go wrong.
How so? Can you give an example?
Let's think about that story, the modern one, about saving sea turtles.
Okay, I think I know the one. Tourists see baby turtles getting eaten by birds.
Right. And compassion wells up. That's a virtue, surely. So they help the first few scout turtles reach the water safely.
Seems like a good deed. Helping the vulnerable.
On the surface, yes. But they didn't understand the turtles' natural way, their Tao. Those scouts were meant to test the waters, sometimes be sacrificed to protect the main group.
Oh no. So by helping them.
They sent a false, all-clear signal. Thousands more hacklings poured out, thinking it was safe, and got decimated by the waiting birds.
Wow. So their compassionate virtue, because it ignored the larger natural pattern, caused a disaster.
Exactly. Well-intentioned virtue, disconnected from the Tao, the natural way, became harmful.
That's a sobering. Is there another example? Maybe more historical?
Consider the classic tragedy of the loyal general. You see this archetype throughout history.
Yeah.
Imagine a general utterly loyal to his king. Loyalty is his highest virtue. He swore an oath.
A noble quality.
Absolutely. But the king becomes cruel, paranoid. He orders the general to brutally suppress a protest in a starving town, people desperate for food, not rebels.
Oh, the classic conflict. Loyalty versus conscience.
He's torn. His heart knows it's wrong. But his virtue, his oath of loyalty, demands obedience. So he follows the order, crushes the protest.
He kept his oath, his virtue.
In his own mind, maybe. But his loyalty, detached from the higher way, the well-being of the kingdom, the people, justice, it became a tool for tyranny. History remembers him not as loyal, but as the tyrant's enforcer.
His virtue became twisted, harmful.
These stories warn us, don't they? Virtue isn't an absolute good in itself. If it's cut off from its roots in way-making, from the natural flow and deeper wisdom, it can become rootless water. It can even become destructive.
It has to be grounded in that deeper understanding of how things actually work, not just abstract principles.
Precisely. Which leads us right into the next big question. This elusive Tao, this way-making, is its very vagueness part of the mystery and the proof of its reality?
Okay, that sounds paradoxical. How can vagueness be proof?
Well, first, let's see how Chapter 21 fits with other key chapters. It doesn't stand alone. Think about Chapter 14.
Remind me.
Chapter 14 describes the Tao using our senses. Looked for but not seen. Listened for but not heard. Grasped for but not held. It's defined by its imperceptibility.
Okay, so it's beyond our normal senses,
Yeah.
which explains why it seems vague and intangible in Chapter 21.
Exactly. Chapter 14 is like the view from the outside, limited by our senses. Chapter 21 takes us inside that vagueness.
And shows us what's there. Image, thing, essence, trust.
Right. It's moving from external observation to internal revelation.
And what about Chapter 1? How does that connect?
Chapter 1 sets the ground rules right at the beginning. The Tao that can be told is not the eternal Tao. It warns us that language will always fall short.
It establishes the principle of unspeakability.
Yes. And Chapter 21 is Lao Tzu playing the game masterfully within those rules. He knows he can't define the eternal Tao definitively.
So instead, he uses these poetic symbols, vague, image, thing, essence, to point us towards it, to give us a feel for it.
Beautifully put. He's not giving a definition. He's evoking an experience, like painting the wind by showing the leaves moving. He shows the effects and the nature of white making.
Okay, so with that context, Chapters 1, 14, and 21 working together, let's look again at this vague and intangible state, this Wang Hu.
Right. Faintly present, blurry, ungraspable. It's described as a pre-sequential state.
Meaning before things happen in order.
Yeah.
Before cause and effect, as we know.
Before concepts, even. Before being and non-being. Motion and stillness. A state of infinite possibility. Not chaos like disorder, but primordial harmony containing all potential order.
Wang Bai called it unbound, absolutely free.
Yes. But crucially, Lao Tzu says within this formlessness, this vagueness, are the seeds of everything. The blueprints, images, the raw materials, things, the life force essence.
So it's not empty nothingness, but pregnant nothingness.
Yeah.
Full potential. How did later thinkers try to explain this emergence from the void?
Suche, whom we mentioned earlier, had that ontological decline model.
Right, from pure potential to mixed reality.
Stage 1, pure Tao, vague, before being non-being. Stage 2, the seed of life emerges the genuine essence and trust, the will to exist. Stage 3, manifestation in our world as things which are inevitably a bit mixed, less pure.
A gradual unfolding, losing some purity along the way. Were there other models?
Shanggong saw it more in terms of key, vital energy. He said the thing that emerges is the one, the primordial key. And the essence arises from the interplay of yin and yang. It's a more energetic cosmological creation story.
And didn't a Buddhist monk connected to meditation states?
Yes. Hanshan Deking in the Ming Dynasty, he saw Lao Tzu's genuine essence as mirroring a very deep state of consciousness described in Buddhist texts, suggesting Lao Tzu wasn't just philosophizing, but describing a profound spiritual experience.
It shows how these deep mystical insights can resonate across traditions. But was this idea of creation from nothing ever challenged?
Oh, absolutely. Wang Fuzi, a later thinker, raised a really sharp critique.
What was his point?
He questioned if the true nature of things doesn't actually lie in their changes, their dynamism. Is gold less truly gold when it's molten compared to when it's solid?
Interesting point.
Wang Fuzi worried that Lao Tzu's focus on the original unchanging purity might imply that only the non-existent is truly real, devaluing the changing, manifest world.
So a critique about valuing the static source over the dynamic reality.
Yes. It helps us see the specific focus of Lao Tzu's thought. Here, he's emphasizing that unchanging primordial essence.
Okay, so given this mysterious, vague source, what proof does Lao Tzu offer that it's actually real, not just a nice idea?
He gives two key pieces of evidence right there in the text. First, this essence is genuine, Qijing Shenzhen.
What exactly is this Jing, this essence?
Other texts help. Zhuangzi calls it the most subtle of the subtle, the tiniest primordial bit. Guanzi links it to the finest part of Qi, the life energy. It's seen as the fundamental, irreducible reality, the core stuff of existence.
So saying it's genuine means it's truly real, the bedrock.
Yes. And that phrase, this essence is genuine, had massive historical impact.
Oh, so?
Scholar Wingsit Chan showed how it became the cornerstone for Zhou Dunyi's explanation of the diagram of the Great Ultimate.
Zhou Dunyi, the founder of Neo-Confucianism.
The very one. His whole metaphysical system, which shaped centuries of Chinese thought, arguably rests on this single line from Lao Tzu about the genuineness of the Tao's essence. It shows a deep borrowing or resonance between Taoism and Confucianism at that level.
Wow, that's a huge legacy for one line. What's the second proof?
The second is, and within it there is trust, Xin.
Trust. How is trust proof?
Wang Bi interprets yin here as proof or evidence. What kind of proof? Think about what Jie Yi said. It's as faithful as the four seasons, as reliable as the tides.
The dependable cycles of nature.
Exactly. The seasons always turn, the tides always ebb and flow, they never break their promise. This unwavering regularity, this cosmic trustworthiness.
Is the evidence that the underlying Tao is real and ordered.
Precisely. It's the ultimate guarantee. If the universe operates with such fundamental faithfulness, then the source it springs from must be real and possess this inherent trust. It offers a basis for cosmic order and maybe inner peace.
So the Tao is proven real by its genuine essence and its trustworthy manifestations in the world. Okay. That leads to the final puzzle.
How does the sage know all this?
Yeah. How does one person perceive these ultimate truths? Lao Tzu gives that simple answer: by this.
Which brings us to the third deep dive question. How exactly does the sage know the world? What is Lao Tzu's epistemology?
He sets it up. From antiquity to the present, its name has not been discarded. The Tao's role as source is constant.
By means of it, we can examine the origins of all things. We use this constant to understand the beginning.
How do I know? So, by this. So what is this? How have people understood that word?
There seem to be three main interpretations, three paths to wisdom contained in by this. First, He Shenggong's path of experience. He says flat out, this is the present. His analogy is simple. You know the power plant exists because the light is on right now.
You infer the source from the present effect.
Exactly. By seeing how everything now depends on waymaking for its existence, waymaking is the origin. It's empirical based on current observation.
Okay, path one. Present experience. What's path two?
Path 2 is Wang Bai's path of reason. He thought this referred to the whole logical argument Lao Tzu just built in the chapter.
So the sage knows by this reasoning process.
Yes. The sage is like a detective. They see the orderly phenomena, image thing, essence, trust, and deduce the necessary existence of waymaking as the first cause. It's about rational inference.
Path 2, logical deduction. And the third?
The third is Suche's path of inner verification. He argued this refers to the sage being the Tao, embodying it.
Not just observing or reasoning, but becoming one with it.
Right. The idea is that the structure of the universe, macrocosm, mirrors the sage's own inner nature, microcosm. To know the universe, you know yourself deeply. It's an identity.
That sounds like what Roger T. Ames called aesthetic epistemology, knowing through participation.
Precisely. It's not detached knowing, but embodied knowing. Fu Perong's metaphor captures it, the drop of water returning to the ocean. The finite self finds truth by merging with the infinite Tao.
Experiential, rational, and embodied knowing. 3 ways to understand by this. And didn't this last one, inner verification, have a strange echo in the West?
It really did, much later. Stephen Mitchell's popular English version of the Tao Te Ching.
Right, he didn't read Chinese, but synthesized translations. What did he do by this?
He translated it simply as, I look inside myself and see.
Wow, that completely shifts the meaning, doesn't it?
Absolutely. It turns a cosmological question about knowing the universe's origins into a purely psychological, introspective act.
More like self-help or therapy than metaphysics.
Exactly. It resonated hugely with Western individualism and the focus on inner experience. While maybe not a literal translation, you could call it a highly illuminating creative misreading. It spoke to what people were looking for.
Fascinating how translation shapes understanding across cultures. Okay, so let's try to pull all these threads together. What's the big picture from chapter 21?
Well, the core message seems to be that real virtue isn't just good deeds. It's flowing from the Tao. It's about aligning with this fundamental paradoxical energy of the universe.
This vague, yet totally real potentiality that creates everything.
Right. The wisdom is about getting back to the root, not just staying lost in the branches. Understanding the source gives you command over the manifestations.
And how does this Taoist view stack up against other big philosophical ideas about ultimate reality, like Plato's forms?
Very different. Plato's forms are perfect, static blueprints existing outside our world. The Tao is immanent within everything, and it's a dynamic, creative process. Plato's forms are the Tao does.
Okay, what about Hegel's absolute spirit?
Also different. Hegel saw history moving rationally towards a specific goal, a teleology. The Tao's creation is natural, spontaneous, non-teleological. It's not heading towards a predetermined end. It's the eternal present, constantly unfolding.
But you mentioned resonance with Heidegger.
Yes, strongly. Heidegger searched for being itself, not specific beings, but the underlying condition that allows things to be, that open clearing.
Which sounds a lot like the vague way-making that isn't a thing but births all things.
Exactly. It's the ground of possibility. And Heidegger's later idea of Gelassenheit letting be, releasement.
Sounds like wu-wei, non-action, letting things unfold naturally instead of forcing them.
It's a striking parallel. Resisting that urge to dominate and control, instead aligning with the natural flow.
And the connection to psychology. Carl Jung.
Jung saw the Tao as a fantastic symbol for the collective unconscious. That deep, dark ocean within the psyche.
Containing the archetypes.
Right. The images, things, essence emerging from the Tao's vagueness are like the archetypes, hero, shadow, etc., emerging from the unconscious and following only from waymaking.
That's Jung's process of individuation, becoming whole by integrating those inner forces.
That's how he saw it, a journey guided by that deep inner reality.
Bringing ancient cosmology right into modern personal growth. So, the ultimate takeaway.
The Tao, waymaking, isn't some remote concept. Its reality is right here in the seasons, the tides, your own breath, and the sage knows this through experience, reason, or embodiment. We can touch eternity now.
It's an amazing philosophical journey.
Yeah.
But how do we use this? How can we, just regular people, actually experience this, seeing the genuine and the vague in our everyday lives? Can this chapter guide us practically?
Absolutely. Wisdom needs application, right? So let's talk about a practical exercise based on this chapter. We call it the Answer Incubation Chamber.
The Answer Incubation Chamber. I like the sound of that. What's the principle behind it?
It comes straight from Lao Tzu. The vague and intangible Tao holds all potential, all answers, the image, thing, essence, trust. But we usually try to force answers with logic, right? We get anxious with ambiguity.
Definitely. We want clarity now.
This exercise flips that. It helps us lean into the vagueness of a problem, trusting that the answer is already incubating within that uncertainty, waiting to emerge naturally.
So instead of frantic thinking, it's about patient waiting, creating a space for the answer.
Exactly. Building confidence in that emergence from the unknown. Almost like creating a philosophical timeout space, like you said.
Okay, I'm intrigued. How do we actually do it? Walk us through the steps.
All right. So next time you hit a wall, a tough problem, a creative block, feeling stuck, try this.
Define the incubation chamber. Find a quiet spot. Grab a blank sheet of paper. In the middle, write down the absolute core of your problem, just a word or two. Project bottleneck, relationship issue, chapter opening. Then put the pen down. Just name the ambiguity.
Okay, got it. Define the space. Then what?
Second step, wait for fermentation. For about 3 to 5 minutes, just gaze quietly at those words. Don't analyze, don't brainstorm. Your only job is to feel the energy field of the problem, the confusion, the possibilities, the vagueness itself, like watching wine ferment.
Just observe the swirling potential without trying to control it.
Exactly. Let thoughts, images, feelings drift by. No judgment, no attachment. Let your mind be that empty heart, open and receptive.
Okay, holding the space, feeling the vagueness. What's the third step?
Third step, capture the trust. When the time's up, or maybe you feel a little internal nudge, a flicker of something, pick up the pen. Without thinking, without censoring, write or draw the very first thing that comes to mind. A word, a phrase, a simple image. It might seem totally random or irrelevant. That's fine.
Don't question it, just capture it.
Yes. Capture that initial little message, that sin, that trustworthy signal born from the vagueness. That tiny clue is often the first thread leading you towards the deeper answer. It's the Tao whispering back.
Wow, that feels like creating a personal laboratory for the Tao, right in the middle of a problem.
That's exactly the idea. It teaches us to trust the creative chaos, to be patient, and to allow that genuine trust to emerge from the vagueness. It makes the philosophy real, tangible.
So chapter 21, it really is Lao Tzu's Book of Genesis, describing the origin not as a distant god, but as this paradoxical maternal source.
Vague, yet real, empty, yet full of genuineness, trust, life.
And the way to know it isn't out there, it's in here. We're part of the rainbow, carrying the secret of the light.
And that final seal, this essence is genuine, and within it, there is trust. The deepest truth found in the deepest vagueness.
It's profound. We've looked at the cosmic origins. But where does Lao Tzu take this next? Does he bring it down to earth?
Oh, immediately. The very next chapter, he pulls the camera right back to our daily struggles. He asks, can this deep wisdom actually help us succeed, get promoted, overcome challenges, win at life?
And his answer is?
A resounding yes. But his guide to success is probably the strangest you'll ever hear. It's completely counterintuitive.
How so? Give us a taste.
Chapter 22 opens like this. To be whole, you must first be bent. To be straight, you must first be crooked. To be full, you must first be empty.
Bent to be whole, crooked to be straight. That sounds backward.
Exactly. To preserve yourself, bend. To stand tall, endure being wronged. To fill something, first be hollow. It flies in the face of everything we're usually taught.
We're taught to stand firm, never yield. Break before bending.
Right. But Lao Tzu suggests wisdom lies in stepping back, in yielding. He even gives this incredible formula, because he does not contend. No one in the world can contend with him.
Whoa! No contention equals unbeatable. That's a radical claim.
Isn't it? Is that brilliant strategy or just passive escapism? If you refuse to compete, do you win by default or do you just get eliminated first?
That's the cliffhanger, a real puzzle.
It is. And that's what we'll tackle next time on the Deep Dive. We'll try to unravel perhaps the most fascinating, counterintuitive teaching in the entire Tao Te Ching, the power of non-contention.